It is 2024, and if you're looking for an extra passive income source, just enough to pay your rent, then this might be just the right video for you. Over the years, I've tried making money with different sources of income, and today I will share with you the ones that are really working for me or others that I believe that have a lot of potential in 2024. Before I get into it, I must tell you that I will not try to sell you any course, and there's nothing like a get-rich-quick scheme. Honestly, these are things that you can set up starting as early as today and generate you a lot of money. I don't want to waste your time, but just for the sake of making it clear from the very beginning, I also must tell you that recently there's been a lot of buzz about this whole concept of passive income. Just to clarify it, passive income does not mean getting paid for doing nothing. Instead, you need to compromise what you will give for that passive income, so it will be either your time or some sort of investment you need to put up front. A great source of passive income is being a content creator on YouTube. Now, I know that I've shared this in the past, but now it's the perfect time to show you why YouTube is a great source of passive income. I would honestly never consider YouTube a source of passive income if it wasn't for this video in here. Ever since I posted this video a few months back, it hasn't stopped bringing me revenue on a regular basis. There might be days when I only make a couple of cents from it, there might be other days when I make $13, but all of this is 100% passive from a video that took me a couple of hours to create several months ago. Now, this is a very small channel and I only have 2 videos that bring me regular views. Let me tell you that there are a lot of search-based channels out there that keep generating passive income from videos they have posted months or even years ago. Sometimes you don't even need a fancy camera, but you can make use of the so-called faceless YouTube channels to create search-based videos and try to rank for the search results. It might take time, but it is proven to work as a passive income source. It happens sometimes that people love to make money from YouTube and think that it is easy, but once they start and get some very poor results, they get demotivated and simply quit. Sometimes all you need is to see the full picture and what it takes to succeed on YouTube and how much you can actually make in a full year. And in case you'd be interested to see that, I will make sure to link that video and it will pop on the screen somewhere in here. The second one has a lot of potential, and when I think about it, this one is really passive, and I'm talking about renting out space. Now, when I say space, I'm not talking about rooms and stuff, but I'm actually talking about things like an open area or a parking spot. From the perspective of a consumer, I can remember paying up to $100 per month to rent a parking spot in a quite busy area. I know a guy that has a really big driveway and he just collects $100 to $150 per month from different kids that just don't know where to park their cars. And it's not that you can just leave your car in the middle of the street, right? So in an average month, he was making something like $2,000 per month. Now, you might be wondering, hey, let's suppose that I've got a big driveway, but where can I find the people that will be willing to pay me $100 to $150 to park their cars in my area? I cannot just stay outside and ask random people if they would like to park their car on my driveway, right? No, well, actually there's no need to do that, because you can go to this website called Spot Hero and list your free parking spot in there. I'm not sponsored by this website in any way, but I'm just sharing it from a consumer's perspective. As you can see on the website, people might find the option to park monthly, and they can search for your area, see your prices, and then rent your parking spot. Now, the money you can make from this is just enough to cover for your electricity bill or your internet bill. Another great method to earn some passive income is putting your money into a high interest savings account. In case you have never heard of this before, you can get something like 4.6% yearly interest simply because you decided to park your money on an online bank like SoFi. Even if you start with a small amount like $1,000, you can get something like $40 to $50 per year in terms of interest. And on top of that, at the time of making this video, you can earn up to $300 when you create a new account with them. Please be very careful to read all the terms and conditions, because there are things that might change in the future. Anyway, if you have a little bit more money, then you can decide to put something like $10,000, and in that case this, you can make an easy $400 to $500 extra per year. Again, this is only if you've got nothing better to do with that money and you just don't want to have money laying around at your home or leaving it in your bank with 0.001% interest per year. If you have a business idea or you're thinking about an investment and you're convinced about it, then go ahead, because in that case it might be better than the online savings accounts. As for the next one, I'm pretty sure that almost all of you might have thought about doing this at a certain point in your life. So if you live in a big city and you use public transportation and you don't use your car more than a few times per week, then it might be a good idea to rent it out and collect some money. Now again, there is no need to go out on the street and start looking for people that are willing to rent, but you can go over to Turo, and you already know what that is, so I don't want to talk about it for too long. Basically, when you go on Turo, you register as a host there, and depending on what car you drive, you can get paid anywhere between 40 to 150 per day. For anything above that, however, I would not recommend using Turo, because it means that your car might be too luxurious and you wouldn't want to rent it out there. You can do the same if you want to rent out gear that you don't use all the time. For example, less than a year ago, I bought a Sony a7 Mark IV together with a pretty expensive lens, but overall, I only use it 4 hours per week when I'm recording my videos every Friday and Tuesday. For the rest of the days, the camera just used to lay around in my room doing nothing. So one day I thought of renting it out to people that need it, and so that I could rent this camera out for around $80 per day. I have done this a few times already, and there are just so many websites that give you the possibility to rent out your recording gear regardless of where you live in the world. Again, be picky. The last thing you want is giving your $3,000 camera to someone that either misuses it or completely ghosts you once they get the camera. Make sure to list your camera on websites that offer some sort of warranty. This can make you enough to cover up for some of the items on your grocery list. The next one is something that I've tried to do myself a couple of times in the past, but it might be a little bit sketchy, and please be very careful as it might be illegal in some countries. I'm talking about lending out money to friends or family. In my country, this used to be something quite normal, specifically in the past when people were quite hostile to banks. There were a lot of people that were lending out money and adding a kind of interest on top of that, usually something below 20%. So if a friend of mine or someone I know needs $1,000, I might agree to give that money to him if he agrees to give me back the initial $1,000 plus $100 in interest. Now, normally this must be done with mutual agreement and preferably in front of an attorney, because something might go wrong in the future, and quite frankly, in most of the cases things didn't go as predicted. More often than not, the other person would be willing to pay you back the money he got from you, but they would try to avoid paying back the interest. And in most of the countries, you cannot just sue them, because the whole concept of lending out money towards interest is illegal. Again, I brought this as an example of passive income, but I'm not sure if I would totally recommend this one. The list of the side hustles I've mentioned is non-exclusive, so in this video in here you can see one of the biggest side hustles I have tried so far.